All right, here's our last video for our project on Henri Matisse and our collage, our Henri Matisse collage. So far, what we have is a background with our organic shapes. We have our face and our hair and our neck, and then we've got shoulders and a shirt or whatever we decided to make there. I just made a neat little shirt. If I hadn't done my neck wrong, I probably would have done a little crew neck or something right there. So that is what we have so far. Today, we're going to work on the rest of our facial features. We need ears, eyes, nose, and mouth, and eyebrows. So first, if you are doing your ears, so for this female, I don't actually need ears because maybe her hair is just covering them. But I could do ears, and actually I can even, on her, why not, do ears. The ears are just these tiny little skinny shape, just like we had done on our self-portrait when we sketched this tiny little shape. So I made one and I actually just traced it to make the other so that they were the same shape. Our ears aren't symmetrical in real life, but on our paper it's much easier to get the right shape if we make them symmetrical. So if you have short hair, for a guy you'll definitely want to do ears, otherwise it'll look really strange. And if you're a girl, you can do ears. You do not have to, however, or maybe you could do one ear, just like that, so it looks like your hair is kind of tucked behind a little bit. And having that little bit of hair in front of the ear, that's totally normal, and that's totally okay. So maybe I'll just leave that one there, or maybe I'll put just one on this side here, whichever I think looks best. All right, once I'm done my ear and the placement, I can start on the rest of my features. I don't have to glue anything down yet until I'm all done, all the parts, because sometimes I like to just make sure they all look like they're in the right place. As you can see, I haven't glued anything yet. So I'm going to make my eyes. The eyes are little football shapes. It might take you a couple tries to really get that shape, but you do a curve on top and a little curve on bottom. It's a little more squished than a football. That's about the shape you want. And just like I did for the ears, I cut one out that I liked, and then I traced it and cut it out for my second eye. That way they're the same size and shape, and I think that makes it work pretty well. Remember how we said that our eyes are halfway down our face? Well, we got to get that proper placement here so it looks right. And remember I said that our eyes are big enough that we could fit 5 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the right shape and size. I'm going to move them down a smidgen. I think that's about right. They're not going to look right until I do the rest of the eye as well. So this part's pretty hard, but you want to make your iris. I chose a brown iris because my eyes are mostly brown. You can choose whatever color you like. You can even kind of play with it a little bit if you wanted to get some colored pencils and just add some color to that. That's okay. That would be cool. And you're going to make a circle. Always go bigger because you can always cut it down, but you want that circle to fit in your eye, and it's okay if you have a little hanging over because you can just trim that down. Just like I had in my self-portrait here, my circle would have extended beyond the white of my eye, and then I would just trim off the bottom and trim off the top. So you can do that with your eyes here. I'm gonna put my eye down, it goes the other way, and then I'm gonna put my irises on, and I would trim them to make sure they were just the right size and shape. They're not a perfect circle, nothing's perfect, but they're good enough and they look pretty nice. So next I'm gonna do my pupil, and the pupil is somewhere between the size of a hole punch and a little bit bigger. It's just gonna be a black circle. You wanna get it as centered as you can. It's gonna look really bizarre if your pupil is not centered in your eye. Your iris could be off center if you trimmed it to fit the shape of the white of your eye. If you put them both off center and then you trim, you could do that and have it looking off to the side. But in any case, the black of the pupil has to be in the center of the iris. So finally for the eye, the last little finishing touch that makes it look really nice is if you add a teeny tiny little reflection. The reflection is just a tiny bit of white, and it's actually very hard to place with your fingers because it's so small. So I'm going to try to do it. I would just add a teeny tiny bit of white on the eye right like that. And then on the other eye, do the same thing. A teeny tiny bit of white. I plop it on the eye and then try to just nicely place it in the same place. There we go. That's close enough. And that way it kind of looks like a little bit of a reflection. So there are your eyes. Then you gotta have eyebrows. I would choose the same color eyebrow as hair. I didn't for my example, so it's gonna be a little bit off. But the shape of your eyebrow, just try to figure out what your eyebrow shape is. Some are more arched than others, and some are thinner, some are thicker, some are more rounded like this one. Cut the shape you like, and just like I did for the eyes and mouth, cut one and trace it. So then, I have my two eyebrows, and I can place them and then arrange them to get the expression I would like. After that, I need my mouth and my nose, and then I'm pretty much done. So for my mouth and nose, they're trickier shapes. So I'm gonna show the shapes that I use. I make a basic upside down question mark. So if this is kind of like a question mark or a number 7, make it upside down like that. And then I just cut it out as if it was 2-dimensional. So I'll cut on one side of the line I made and then on the other side of the line I made. And that creates this. And I had to actually shrink mine down a little. I just did it in a medium brown, not black. It doesn't have to be super dark. And then, like we said, the bottom of the nose is gonna be halfway between the eyes and the chin. So I'm just gonna pop that right there. And then the lips are also a tricky shape. So for the lips, you wanna make a shape like this. You can cut kind of like a really long football shape and then shrink it down a little and then cut a little bump into it. For a girl, you can make it a little bit pinker. For a guy, you can make it a little bit more of a flesh tone, like one of the darker sandy colors. So there you go. Those are your basic facial features for your Henri Matisse self-portrait. Remember, you could add an ear if you would like. And I hope you guys have fun creating your self-portrait. Glue everything down, make it look really neat. Add little details if you want with painted paper, with construction paper. And have fun, make it look really cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this project.